As a fashion designer or tailor, if you are undercharging your products and services, it is simply because of one of these three reasons. Number one is either you don't know your target markets and how to reach them, or you do not understand what tailoring model you're actually operating and what it entails, or you're simply dishing out mediocre jobs. Hence, you're not able to charge well for them. And one of the biggest mistakes tailors and fashion designers make is charging too little for their job. And guess what? That is why most tailors, 95% of tailors, are broke and struggle financially to scale their businesses. Hi, I am Kali, a fashion entrepreneur and educator, and I've been in this business for over 7 years. One of the lessons I've learned the hard way is that it's not by working harder, but by pricing smarter. Because you cannot afford to put in so much into your job and charge too little for it. And in this video, we're going to be discussing the best way to charge for your services in order to make your business very profitable. Because you're in business to make profits, not for charity. So let's dive right into the video. Oftentimes, most tailors and fashion designers do not truly understand what tailoring model their business operates. That is the truth. And I used to be like that for the longest of time until I got to know better. For instance, the profit margin for ready-to-wear cannot be the same as the profit margin for bespoke and made-to-measure models, because these different models require different levels of input, effort, time, resources to operate. So you knowing what model you are operating helps you to know what exactly to charge for your services. When you now know and define your tailoring model, or the tailoring model your business would operate or is operating, it helps you to now know the next thing, which is know your cost. Break down the cost of fabric, lining, zipper, accessories, etc. And then you also need to add your production time. That is what you want to pay yourself or your tailors for an outfit. That is also part of your cost. Another cost you need to include, which is often called the overhead cost or your indirect cost, is the cost of electricity, rent, data, logistics, and all of that. All those things that are the cost of the equipment you work with, like sewing machine, weaving machines, and all of that. All this will come under your indirect cost. These are things that you shouldn't put aside when you're costing your products. So this is a simple formula to use in calculating your cost. Your cost of fabric plus your cost of labor plus your cost of overheads equal to your base price. Then the next thing is for you to add your profit margin. You are running a business, not charity. So you cannot arrive at your base price and sell your product at that base price. For instance, if you calculate the cost of fabric, labor, overheads, and everything, and it gives you 20k, for instance, for an outfit, that shouldn't be your selling price. You should add your profit margin to it. Your profit margin could be 30%, 50%, 70%. It depends on you. So if, for instance, your base price is 20,000 naira for an outfit, you're supposed to sell that outfit for at least 26 to 30,000 naira, depending on you. Make sure that you don't lose sight of your profit margin, because that is what will guarantee you making profits and reinvesting into your business. Tailors and fashion designers that work from home, don't forget your overhead costs when you're pricing your product, because whether you like it or not, you are incurring this cost. You don't charge for this overhead cost. It means you're planning to stay there for the rest of your life, sewing inside your room. I mean, your business is supposed to fund itself, so the only way you can make that happen is by including your overhead cost when you are charging your products. I'm saying this from experience because I suffered this for the longest of time in my business, especially when I started. I felt because I was working from home, there was no need including overhead costs. And that really kept me grounded and unable to scale my business for the longest of time. Number 4 thing is price for value, not fear. Oftentimes, tailors do not charge for the value they are giving. And if that's the case with you, then it's either because of one of these three reasons. Number one is either your job is mediocre in quality, so you are not able to charge so much for it, or you are targeting the wrong markets, or you do not truly understand what tailoring model you're using or the value you are giving. Because yes, it's possible for you to be giving a lot of value and not even realize it. Stop undercharging yourself simply because you want clients. Because the truth is that clients do not only pay for the product, they pay for your experience, they pay for your finishing quality, they pay for your customer service. For instance, when you go to all these big fashion houses like Vicky James, they will serve you champagne to start with, to welcome you. And do you think they do that from their pockets? No, it's all covered in the bill you get at the end of the day. It is important for you to know that it is not just the outfits you're charging for. And if you want to make a difference, if you want the experience you give your customers to matter, then you should be willing to give them that unique experience and charge for it. And trust me, when you do, they will not really complain, especially when they are your target market. I've never heard a Vicky James bride complain that the price is exorbitant, because the experience alone makes it worth it. If you want your business to grow, you have to gradually start incorporating all of this into your prices. Trust me, if you're confident, your customers will pay. Your target market will pay you. They will find you and they will pay you. But if you're on the charge, you're only going to attract bargain hunters. People who from the word go will start pricing you down. And tell me how you're going to make it in this fashion business with such kind of customers. Number 5th thing to consider when pricing your product is how to handle that's too expensive kind of clients. You know those customers that the moment you give them your price, you'll be like, it's too expensive, you need to give me discount, you need to bring down the price and all of that. Do not rush to reduce your price. Do not rush to give discounts. Kindly and respectfully tell them, I understand, but my prices reflect the time, quality, and the details I put into my job. So instead of rushing to give discounts or to cut down your price, kindly just give them cheaper alternatives, simpler styles, simpler details, if available, and let them choose. The last but not the least is review and adjust your prices when necessary. The prices are not supposed to stay the same for years. How is that even going to work? As the economy is changing, your price needs to change. We all know how the prices of things dramatically skyrocketed in the past few months. So you can't afford to be charging the same amount you were charging last year, charging the same amount now, or last 2 years. So your prices should be open to review and adjustment. And some of the factors that determines price review are: 1, when cost of fabrics increases. 2 is if you gain more skill and experience. Like when you do an upgrade, definitely your price should change. Another factor is when your overhead cost increases. For instance, the price of fuel last 2 years or last year was not even up to 500 naira. But today you buy a liter of fuel for almost 1,000 naira. I buy for 945 naira. So you can't afford to be charging the same amount. Even the cost of electricity has increased. So there's no way you can maintain your prices when your overhead costs, fabric costs, cost of labor and everything keeps increasing. So make sure that you review your prices when necessary. So there you have it. The smart ways to price your fashion products and services. Number 1 is know what tailoring model you are offering. Number 2, know your costs. Number 3, add your profit margin. Number 4, price for value and not fear. And also be ready to review and adjust your prices when necessary. So if you've watched this video to this point, I know you must have learned 1 or 2 things from this video. So kindly like, share and subscribe. And also leave a comment telling us other ways you price your product for more profitability. I'm Kali and I'll see you in my next video.